Hello again everybody. I was checking something on my current guitar build and it occurred to me that it might be worth filming as a quick tip. It won't be news to anybody who's been building for a while, I'm sure, but I thought possibly it might be of some help to somebody who's less experienced or even new to it. So here goes. We acoustic guitar builders need to book match several pieces on the guitar. Typically the top, the back and the sides, so three major parts of the guitar. And just in case you don't know, book matching means you've sliced a piece of wood down the middle, so you have two halves, and when you open it out they're symmetrical like this. And when you buy a guitar top or a back, very often the timber merchant will indicate which were the inside, so which were the nearest bits to each other, by drawing a guitar shape. Normally the biggest one that'll fit on the blank that he's cut out. And you can see here this has been partly sanded and I've messed around with it a bit, but you can still see the original shape that was drawn on. So we know, for normally speaking, for the top and the back, how the wood was in the tree. But sometimes when you're messing around doing various operations on it, you lose those marks. And in particular, and was my situation, for sides you don't have that kind of mark. Normally the merchant, if they're shipped to you, will ship them in the same way, so that the kind of adjacent faces, they're not quite adjacent because there's the saw kerf that's gone in between, but the nearest faces are together. But again, when you're sanding down or thinning or just general operations, they get confused, mixed up, and you're not sure which is which. Now you can normally tell by eye, especially with the top and the back, although it's not always a given by any means. But for the sides, sometimes it's more difficult. So say you've got a set of sides and you've lost track of the way they were shipped to you, so you're not sure which way round they were in the tree, whether like this or whether like that. I.e. did the saw cut go through there or through there. You can do visual checks, and very often, especially with tops and backs, that is something you can more or less rely on because you want the best, most symmetrical looking thing. But basically there are four ways you can join pieces of wood like this. It could be on this edge or this edge when they were this way round, but if they were the other way round in the tree, you've got two more possibilities, like this or like this. Now this looks quite good, quite symmetrical. If you look at this figure here, I hope this comes up on the camera. So that looks quite good. But if they were the other way around in the tree, you can look at this. That looks quite nice, slightly uneven side to side in terms of the thickness. And there, that also looks quite symmetrical. So, which way round were they in the tree? As I said, for tops and backs, and to a certain extent sides, it doesn't really matter, you can rely on your eyes. You want the best visual match in any case, but sometimes you just want to know which way round were they. And so here comes the trick, and it's really simple. The trick is to look at the end grain. So I'll try and show this on the camera. Here's the end grain, and you can see some distinctive marks here. And again on this end here. If you reverse them and say, were they that way round in the tree, you can see the marks suddenly align very much better. And so you can be fairly sure, almost 100% sure, that this was the way round they were in the tree. Same the other end, although it's less obvious here. But you can see there's a line along there, another one here, and they simply don't align as well if they're the other way round. You see there's a gap, there's a gap. So this is the wrong way round, so to speak. That's the way they were in the tree. I'm going to book match them this way, and to cope with that slightly uneven thickness, I'm just going to plane a bit more of this one so that they will look more symmetrical. As I said, this doesn't matter so much on sides because they'll never be joined along this long seam, but if this was a top or a back, especially a back because they are very often highly figured, this kind of thing matters quite a lot. So you want to try and even up the figure on both sides of the join. I know now that my sides were like this in the tree, and I just have to decide where I want the butt end of the guitar. Do I want it here or do I want it at the other end? So there it was, my quick tip for newbies. Nothing terribly earth-shaking, but I hope somebody finds it useful. Until next time, goodbye for now.